Let's discuss about the obesity in India. So we are in the city of Hyderabad, state of Telangana, and we all know that India ranks number 2 as far as the global obesity ranking is considered. And we have around 13.5 crore people, 135 million individuals who suffer from obesity. Around 58.8% of them are either overweight, obese or severely obese. And we have 73% overweight individuals in suburban India. Now, when as the press or even as professionals we see this data, this slide reflects that the problem of obesity or morbid obesity, or leave alone obesity or morbid obesity, being overweight is very common in India. Every out of 4, every 1 individual in our country would be overweight. So even if we are saying that, okay, very severe obesity or obesity is a little uncommon, but being overweight is really common in our country. And if we see this, so this is 2016 data now. We see when we started in 1990, most of these states across our country had a very nice body mass index in that good category of being fit, somewhere between 20 to 23 or 24. But now what we are seeing is that across the country, everything has become red. In 2016, it was not much red. Now, if you see the latest data is going to be published by NFHS, it would be all red. And we can see that even if we see 2016, let's take this slide as an example, we are seeing a disparity or a contrast in the northernmost states and the southernmost states. So we see that the obesity is higher in either the northern states like Punjab, Delhi, Haryana, and the southern states where we have Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and obviously Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are not like too far away from that. Now we know that that's primarily because of fat or carbohydrate consumption in most of our areas. We are primarily rice eaters here, and we know that it's very difficult to burn that high amount of carbohydrate by doing physical activity, and that ultimately gets converted into fat, which ultimately gives us that kind of obesity, which is visceral obesity, without any muscle mass, and makes us prone for type 2 diabetes. Now let's see this. So 60% of our population here in Hyderabad is obese. So this is just Hyderabad specific data. Very important for all of us here to understand why we are here with this particular innovation with these 2 gentlemen, very learned individuals, and what new we are going to talk about. So the important point is that the problem is very big. That's what I wanted to tell. It's a huge problem in Hyderabad and the entire state of Telangana. 40% people being overweight, 70% being obese, 3% being very severely obese, and if you see, only 35% of these individuals would not require treatment. They are normal weight. But with the kind of lifestyle we have now, primarily carbohydrate consumers, we will see these 35% falling into one of the other categories. Obviously, this capsule, and once you have swallowed it with water, it gets converted in the form of a balloon inside the stomach, and this balloon inside the stomach will give the patient a feeling of fullness, because this is a 550 ml balloon, so half of your stomach is already full, and so when you eat very less. Almost 30 to 40% of what you are eating before this capsule. So a simple capsule, a vegan capsule, taken without any anesthesia, without any hospital, without any endoscopy, anybody can take this capsule. Gets converted into a balloon inside the stomach, which gives you a feeling of satiety, of fullness, and you end up eating less calories over 24 hours every day, and you lose a good amount of weight. This remains inside for 4 months, 4 to 6 months, and then automatically after 4 to 6 months, the water inside this balloon will be released, which is very safely released, and the capsule comes out in your motions, and there is nothing inside the body. Isn't it one of the most fascinating concepts for the treatment of your weight you have ever heard in your life? Think about it. Have you ever heard something like this a capsule, a swallowable capsule which can be swallowed without a hospital setting, without a surgery, without anesthesia, which gets converted into the form of a balloon inside your stomach, gives you good amount of weight loss very safely and comes out automatically in your motion. That is what we are here to discuss, and we are so honored that we have two of the most brilliant guys, two of the most brilliant and genius people of Indian origin, based in US, who have come to serve their own country with this modality to treat obesity in India.
It's been a long road to actually get our device approved here in India, but we're finally here, and we're really glad and privileged to be here in Hyderabad to talk about this new invention. I want to take you back to 2009 when I was a medical student at Harvard Medical School and studying to become a doctor. And my classmate and I got very interested in obesity and weight loss, because every time we had a lecture from one of our faculty members who were really experts, you know, they were Harvard professors, they were experts in their field. Every single time they gave us a lecture, it was related to some problem that obesity was causing in their field, whether it was heart disease, whether it was diabetes, infertility, liver disease. Even at that point in 2009, there were 13 different types of cancer correlated to obesity. So obesity was everywhere. And we started Allurion with one mission, and that's to end obesity around the globe. That's our mission at Allurion. And it's a big mission, it's a big, audacious, ambitious goal that we have at our business. And you might be wondering, well, how are they actually going to end obesity? How do we at Allurion actually put an end to obesity? And obesity is a chronic disease. It's one that truly never goes away, but it can be managed over a lifetime. It can be managed over a lifetime if you have the right tools in your tool set. I'll take you back to a lecture that we had as medical students where we learned about this so-called obesity treatment gap. At one end of the weight loss spectrum, there's diet and exercise and behavior change. And most people will try this if they want to lose weight, but it really suffers from poor efficacy, or it doesn't really work. You don't really lose that much weight, and you don't keep that weight off over a long period of time.
It's truly an honor and a privilege to be here back home and talking to you about this. So it's been a while coming over here, but finally we are here and we are super excited about what we are going to deliver. So I want to talk to you about what actually went into the development. And in fact, Mohit and I were talking about it just in the drive over here, and explaining that this didn't just happen like this. So Shantanu and Sammy were second year medical students when they came up with this concept, and they came to me, I being one of their professors, and we started talking about it. And we obviously started working to develop this technology. I thought it was very exciting, but it took us almost 9 years to really come to develop this technology and reach a point where we felt that this was safe enough to go into a human body. Safe enough to go into a human body. So during this process, we iterated multiple types of devices or multiple modifications to these devices. We got chemical testing done to show its safety. We got it placed in mice to make sure that the material was completely safe. We then moved on to animal testing to show that this device is not going to cause any harm. Then we moved to larger animals to make absolutely sure that this device can stay there over a prolonged period of time safely. And finally, once we were convinced, showing that this was a safe device, we moved on to our human trials that we conducted in Europe. And even there, we did what's called a first-in-man trial with a shorter duration device and a little bit smaller device, and then moved on to the current device in Europe, where we proved its safety, got European approval, and then finally we got a CE mark and started doing this commercially. So from 2009 till 2016 was just the development and proving that this device is absolutely safe.
So it's not the balloon, it's the entire program, which will include the capsule, the balloon, the watch, and the weighing machine, and the entire software. It's around 3 lakh rupees for the patient.
So,
And also just wanted to let all of you know that this is reimbursed by insurance. It's also a good thing forward that most patients who fulfill the criteria will get it by insurance. Yeah.
Let me clarify. If you are asking the question that can we take 2 capsules at a time to fill up the stomach with a liter of fluid rather than half a liter, the answer is no. You can only take 1 capsule and 1 balloon at a time. But once the balloon has passed, 2 or 3 months later or even 6 months later, you can take a second balloon, and that's the study I had demonstrated the increased weight loss that occurs. So not 2 balloons at the same time, but 2 balloons in sequence you can certainly take, maybe even 3, one after another, but only 1 balloon in the body at one time.
What we have developed is a very simple concept where the patient swallows a balloon which is inside a vegetarian vegan capsule. Inside the stomach, the balloon can be inflated with 550 cc's of water, and this balloon stays in the stomach for 4 months. At 4 months, there's a valve that opens, the balloon's water comes out, and the patient passes the balloon. Now, during the 4 months that the balloon stays in the stomach, the patient feels full, their appetite is decreased, and the time they eat even a small amount of food, they feel full. So their eating is reduced and they lose weight. So very simple concept that allows patients to lose up to 14 kilograms on an average at the end of 4 months of treatment. So the way the balloon works in the stomach is it fills up half the volume of the stomach by being present over there. And this half volume is then allowing the food intake to be reduced significantly, less than half the food. And as a result of less food intake, the patient eats less, gains less weight, and loses weight, in fact. So our studies, the largest studies we have done, has shown that approximately 14, on an average, 14 kilograms of weight is lost with this balloon. The ball is very safe. It stays in the body for 4 months. There may be, when it's placed, there may be a little bit of nausea, some mild abdominal discomfort in the first few days of placement, but then after that, with medication, that resolves and goes away. So then the patient is able to function very well. It took us about 7 to 8 years before we developed it and showed its safety, did the first in human trials after we had finished our animal work. So it took quite a while to develop it and show its safety. Yes, so it is available in the market commercially. It's available in Hyderabad. It's available all over in India. And we've got full approval from the CDSCO to sell this device.